I think it's pretty invaluable, the information you can get from a guy who's clearly had so much success.
I'm going to ask each and every one of you to answer one question. What are you doing to develop yourself as a human being? And I expect you to have an answer.
I think Jerry's awesome. He's a great mentor. He mentors me, and I've known him for several years now, and I try to soak up anything that I can get from him.
Something he says, I guess his delivery or what he's talking about is so genuine.
If you want a relationship with somebody, go after it. So many times people say to me, you know, I was going to call you, but I know how busy you are. You don't have any clue. I don't know how busy I am. But first place, if I'm a decent person, I'll call you back. If I'm not a decent person, you learn that.
He has extremely realistic advice. It's very real world. He's not going to sugarcoat it for you, but at the same time, it still gives you the right perspective to move forward. It still coaches you in a way that is very realistic. And even though he may be telling me something about life that is negative, it never comes off as negative. It always allows me to turn, pivot, move towards a more positive direction. Our
paradigm is limited to our own experiences. And what we need is a mentor who has traveled the road we would like to travel. And if it's true that you will be the sum of the 5 people that you're closest to, then ask yourself, are you close to people that are way more successful than you are? 100% of the talks that I give are customized. And so I want to speak to usually a half a dozen people that are going to be in that audience so I can understand what is their vernacular, what are their issues, and then how do I make the content that I know relate to them specifically. I want to use their terms. I want to use their situations so that they know that I can relate to their issues, that I'm not just some speaker who's tells funny stories, gives you some content, leaves. I start with the notion that almost everybody that you're talking to is successful. And so what I really believe is that what you have to get this audience to understand is that you're not trying to wholesale change them. What you're trying to do is to share with them some ideas and have them create their own thoughts or thoughts with others that create tiny tweaks that create big impact. Most of us would get significantly better if we would just focus on a few small things. And so as a speaker, I'm asking myself, can I make sure that I get you to want to listen? Because if you don't want to listen, then I'm in trouble. But if I can get you to listen, I want to create some ideas in a provocative enough way that you say, gee, I ought to try and do that one thing or those two things that make me more successful.